A federal court in Washington, D.C. handed down a decision on Friday evening in the case of Jane Doe, the young undocumented immigrant in Texas fighting to get an abortion. A 3-judge panel said the government can have 10 days until October 31st to find a sponsor to take custody of Jane Doe, at which point she could lawfully have an abortion under Texas law. If the government doesn't find her a sponsor, the judges said a lower court could order the federal government to allow the 17-year-old to have the procedure. But by that point, she'll be almost 17 weeks pregnant. And every day that passes, she faces greater risk to her health, and greater risk that doctors will refuse to go through with the procedure in the first place. Antonia Hilton was with Jane Doe's guardian, Rochelle Garza, as the court's decision came down.
The government has a very heavy burden of showing irreparable harm here, and they cannot show that.
I think that this is a terrible decision because it doesn't really help her. It doesn't help Jane, and it definitely doesn't help anybody else that's in her situation. I think saying that she can go with a sponsor is just a shortcut. It doesn't really cut to the issues that are happening right now, and the fact that she's being denied something that is a right.
What does today's decision mean for Jane Doe?
It just means that she's just going to have to wait longer. I'm sorry, I'm like emotional right now.
Is this a win for the Trump administration?
Yes, this is a win for them, but it's not over yet. So this is just a delay. And that's how we're going to treat it. We're going to regroup and we're going to keep going. We're going to keep fighting for Jane.
A symbolic funeral in Mogadishu today drew 1,000 people to honor the victims of Somalia's largest terrorist attack. The October 14th bombing of a busy downtown street killed at least 281 people and injured more than 300. But the Somali government has almost no emergency services. And tending to the bombing's aftermath has largely fallen to community volunteers. Vice News met with an activist who's leading those efforts.
maalmo aan weligan maskaxdeena ka go'ayninay ahayd waxay ahayd maalmo yani inagoo soconno ilinta naga qumanayso isla saacadii dadka shooga qaadnay meeshii way gubanaysay.
Muna Hassan Mohammed's phone started ringing almost immediately after the blast. The 29-year-old leads an umbrella group of 42 youth-focused NGOs and civil society groups in Somalia. Her members wanted to help.
maalintii dambe oo axad ahayd subaxii waa isku imaanay waxaan ka hadalnay meesha aan wajahayno dhiig la'aan aa dhacday waxaan ku xiranay calaamad gaduudan madaxa waxaan marnay wadooyinkii annagoo ku qaylinayna bixiya dhiigga.
Somalia's been at war with itself for at least 15 years, and the government doesn't have the resources to deal with an attack on this scale. So Muna stepped in to coordinate the volunteers cleaning up debris and helping people locate their loved ones. The team has had to use their own money for supplies.
markuu istaagayna qaraxa lahay aniga oo ka fanay dabaan dhex galay oo ka garguurtay aniga markaasna horena u sikiyo kadana u sikiyo markaas ilaahay xamdigiisa ilaahay iska tala saartay iyadoo la quraanana ay soo xigtay oo quraan lagu wado.
Grief has turned to anger. On Wednesday, thousands marched in an unprecedented show of defiance against al-Shabaab. People have been too afraid to protest in the past. This attack appears to be a turning point.
waxaan intaas u yeelaynay in annagoo joogno oo qof aan badbaadin karno oo Soomaali ah qof aan badbaadin karno xanuunkaas oo al-shabaab u geystay aan ka badbaadin karno dhalinyaraan nahay waxaan u baahanahay sida asaageen adduunyada kale ay u nooshaa inaan u noolaano.
Nearly 2 weeks after wildfires started turning Northern California neighborhoods and landscapes to ash, a search for disaster aid is underway. And some residents are already facing an uphill battle to get assistance. Wine country's undocumented workers.
So this was my barn. I don't know, it was probably built in the 1880s. You put so much love into these plants and then they're just totally torched.
Ken Mulhert-Siebert is a Sonoma winemaker. The Tubbs fire first ignited on the hills above Ken's vineyard before flying down across the dried pasture, torching his vineyard, and eventually burning his house and tasting room to the ground.
And I thought, well, I could asphyxiate here, or this barn is going to catch fire and I'm going to be immolated. So I dropped the hose right there, and then I ran.
While thousands of people have lost their homes, countless others are left without jobs. And with 28,000 undocumented workers employed by local businesses, many fear the economy will suffer a major hit.
How dependent is this industry on undocumented workers?
Well, it's dependent on hand labor. No one in this industry is very far from folks who have come here to work hard and make a better life for their family.
Sure.
And so, you know, the current politics are unfortunate, to say the least.
We're going to go through a checklist with you, and then we're going to have you register with FEMA if that's really important.
As the immediate shock wears off, the recovery process is just starting. Hundreds of people are lining up at a FEMA center seeking assistance. But while all affected Americans and legal immigrants qualify for FEMA support, undocumented workers without social security numbers do not.
We know that in disaster situations, oftentimes undocumented people are like the last people to get served, either because of institutional barriers or just because of the fear.
Me and my little brother go with my mom. My big brother got in the truck with my dad.
Todo lo primero que pensé era sacar a mis hijos. No las cosas, ni nada.
Y aquí para adelante va a ser todo nuevo, empezar de cero, porque igual perdí todas mis cosas, las cosas de mis hijos, no tienen nada.
To fill the void, the Grayton Day Labor Center and other local groups launched the Undocu Fund. The groups say all proceeds go to undocumented laborers.
Esto es $600 para ustedes, para su familia.
So 28,000 people. Let's say that you raise around $100,000. That comes out to about $3 a person. What would be appropriate for how much you would need for, say, this fund, knowing that FEMA has requested $3 billion for this?
I hope that we can raise millions of dollars with this fund. We're doing the work that personally I feel like our government should be doing.
Since the fund launched on Sunday, they've raised more than $200,000 for families like the Cruzes, who after living in Coffey Park for the last 15 years, are now forced to live with Rosalia's sister.
Pero ¿cuántas personas duermen aquí en esta habitación?
6.
6.
Sí.
¿Dónde?
Aquí lo ponemos, estas cobijas ponemos en el piso y hacemos línea como...
According to FEMA's policy, their family should qualify for assistance because the children, who are U.S. citizens, have social security numbers. But Rosalia says a recent visit to FEMA ended in frustration.
pues solo tardé 5 horas en línea y entramos y era un caos total. Pero en realidad pues nadie te ayudó, nada.
¿Otras personas recibieron más que tú?
Yo pienso que los que son aquí ciudadanos de Estados Unidos, los de aquí sí, porque les rellenaban hojas y más hojas con muchas cosas y todo, pienso que sí.
So one of the criteria for our program is to have a social security number. Anybody who's in the household that has a social security number can register for the households for female assistance.
We met a woman yesterday who was waiting in line for about 5 hours to receive FEMA assistance. She is undocumented. She only speaks Spanish, and she said she walked away learning that the only thing that FEMA could help with was her electricity bill.
Not knowing everybody's case and what the situation was, we do have Spanish-speaking interpreters at the local assistance center, FEMA staff. We try to help applicants receive as much assistance as they need and are qualified for.
While immigrants struggle to navigate the federal relief programs here, local officials like Supervisor Linda Hopkins are trying to fundamentally change the system.
Our undocumented residents are the backbone of our workforce in Sonoma County. They are essential to our 2 primary industries here, which are agriculture and hospitality.
So you'll be reaching out to the federal government directly, asking that FEMA funds here be used to support the undocumented community?
Absolutely. We expect to receive a no answer from the federal government, but that doesn't stop us from asking.
Every year, audio fanatics gather at the Car Audio Championships. And every year, the organizers for the event have to get a sound permit. Bassheads compete for 2 days to see who has the loudest sound system. But for a lot of competitors, it isn't just about brain-rattling bass. It's about putting on a live concert in an everyday car. We met with the organizer of the event to hear both sides.
People are putting a bunch of money into their cars and coming here for a trophy. No cash prize, just bragging rights.
Because they love it. Bragging rights, and they love it. I mean, this is a lifestyle. And you know how it is. Everybody loves driving down the road with their tunes jamming. I mean, that's like as American as apple pie. And we just do it on steroids.
So I wanted to take you out into the Sound Quality Hall. Got about 100 vehicles out here, specifically for the Sound Quality League contest. We've got about 80 of them in Mecca this weekend. And these are like the best sounding cars in the country. This is Tony Horton from Pennsylvania. Just tell him about your trunk and your system. Just you can see he's a state champion, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
I strive for simplicity, 3 amplifiers, and a clean look.
Okay.
For me, it's all about the simple and the stylish effects. And you're welcome to listen to it if you'd like to.
Sure, yeah, let's do it.
Before Tony would show off his system, he installed his custom sensory deprivation blankets. He doesn't want anything distracting you from the sound.
This is not what I demo.
Yeah, it still sounds good.
Where I live.
Yeah.
Tony competes for the highest quality sound award, but he can't play Weekend Girl in the competition. That's where judges like Linda Kobayashi come in. She uses a high-definition tuning CD to grade each car's soundstage.
How do you judge sound quality?
We're trying to measure it against live music. And, this right here, your dash here, is like you can imagine yourself as someone in the audience, and this is your stage.
Less than 1,000 feet away, the competition had a slightly different focus. In the sound pressure test, the winner's decided by whoever hits the highest decibel level. And keeping that sound from leaking out is a team effort. People were regularly hitting 150 decibels, even in the kids' Power Wheels competition. That's like standing 75 feet away from a jet when it takes off. It's also the level where your eardrums can rupture.
I'm ready, Shannon. Yeah.
And it's kind of oil and water. It's like the sound pressure people generally don't get along with the sound quality people. It's not like they're not getting along, but they don't mix. I mean, you're into the music, you're into the bass. There's a few people like Charles and Mike, the best of shows, that do both, but not too many people compete in both because it's hard.
Holy shit. Congratulations.
Is that what you wanted?
Absolutely.
What is the award that you two are going for?
It's called Best of Show. You're competing on how good your install is. You're competing on how well you know how to tune your car, which is what RTA is. You're competing on the SPL, how loud it is outside the vehicle.
So if we're talking Olympics, this is, instead of just doing the 400 meter.
This is the Ironman.
This is the Ironman. This is the decathlon.
Exactly.
This is the best of everything.
Exactly.
This year, Mike had his highest score ever for sound pressure, and he also scored really high in sound quality. So we had him take us for a ride, because you gotta hear both sides.
All right, you ready for some music?
I'm ready for some music. Let's do it. And that is really clear, though.
Absolutely. That's one of the beauties of these. Are you ready?
Yeah.
All right, here it comes.
Pianos.
The other day I had somebody at the Tennessee State Finals tell me the coolest thing I've heard probably in 10 years. And he said, the reason I like Mecca is because I've made 50 new friends. So in second place with 496 points, Charles Haley from Tennessee. Which makes Mike Flanagan, 501 points. Thank you for being there. Thank you for pushing me. Thank you for supporting me. And I am very proud of you. Holy shit.
You gonna do it again next year?
Fuck no. No, I gotta rest, man. But you know I'm gonna.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you know I'm gonna.
That's Vice News Tonight for Friday, October 20th.